Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun today, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Mayegun Diary, lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
This evening, I want to do something like, a lecture-like presentation. I want to try my best to convince you with facts why the breaking of the current chain of the shackle of one Nigeria, which has benefited nobody but the gatekeepers. So, dear panel of judges, member of the Temple of Truth tonight, we will do this together because we want to learn one or two things. Share the broadcast. Why do you want Nigeria to break up like from what it is now? Take a seat. If Nigeria break up, some people will suffer, some region will suffer. This will happen, that will happen. All of those myths, I want to try my best once again tonight to give you the bullet points. If anybody should hold you anywhere and they want to have a conversation around there, why do you think Nigeria should break up? There are some key things you're going to pick up tonight. And like somebody just said, go for it, Mayegun. Of course. Have you shared the broadcast? Have you liked the broadcast as we speak, which is your own offering? Have you even subscribed on Mayegun's Diary Politico? Take a minute as I get myself ready to.
Lórí Facebook.
Thank you very much.
Lórí YouTube. Ọba bá gbé wúrẹ́. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Presido bá rúfin o. Gómìnà gbówó jẹ. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí fa.
Thank you very much for joining me. And thank you so much for, sharing the broadcast, sharing the video so far. However, if you have also read the caption of the broadcast, you can make your own contribution accordingly, or maybe you take your time and just listen for a while. So this presentation tonight is going to be in two phases, so to say. So the first one is this talk, my talk, and all of that. Then the second part is going to be our second fundraiser tonight, which is going to be the continuation of what we continued last night. So I want to say thank you to all of you, my friends, who responded to the call that we should up our pots last night. So while we were live, we received over £800 from all of you, who chipped in your own contribution. So thank you. I also received another £120 in Diaspora Radio that this bank account with the sort code that I shared on my screen the other day. So I received £120 there. If you are the sender, just know that I received it. Okay. I don't even know if it's sent by 2 people or if it's sent by 1 person. Maybe I should confirm that before we go. Also, just yesterday, I also confirmed that we have on our PayPal an extra £30. So thank you to every one of you who actually did that or made that happen. So let me check if it was from 1 person or if it was, yeah, I think it was from, this was from 2 donors, okay? 1 person donated £100 through the bank. Another person donated £20. And I don't know if it's the same person who sent both, but I got them twice. So thank you. So in a nutshell, just last night, well, yesterday evening, and today, we've managed to raise an extra £1,000. So thank you to every one of you. So our plan and what we're going to do in May, I will begin to present them to you by the time we have the overall of our balance. How much do we have in savings, Mayegun? I'll be able to tell you by the end of the month, when we can then say, this is what we're going to spend this coming month. So thank you to every one of you. You see, every now and then when people talk about the injustice and the unfair arrangements called Nigeria, they actually born many of us into this. The struggle for the imbalance, structural imbalance called Nigeria, has been in existence even before we came. But when we came and we also grew up into it, we realized that it has become a sort of a commercial ticket for those who can peddle them very well so that they can have a seat at the table of the gatekeepers of Nigeria. The injustice in Nigeria, which is, like I said, structural, started from 1966 when every part of Nigeria was forced together without their consent and began to obey one single command. That was the beginning of one Nigeria, the one that has now breeded so much disunity, distrust, bloodbath, corruption, and poverty. Above it all, insecurity capped with terrorism. All of this started as a structural imbalance from 1966. Many people tried to readjust it, but not all of them were genuine. Many died, others benefited from it. But the people have always been the loser. That was when they gave birth to us. So we met a system that they foisted on the entire people, strange as it is, and they managed to sustain it on the bloody state-sponsored killings. Now, from 1966 till now, what they have managed to achieve with one Nigeria, a structurally imbalanced one Nigeria, is the divided Nigeria that you have today. And it is never going to go back to anything that, like they've told you before. Now, talking about structural, it is structural when they forced a system that robbed Peter to pay Paul and then gives no responsibility or accountability to anyone. So that system was the system that breeded this fake, corrupt, fraudulent, bloody democracy, demonstration of grace that you have now. So people were unjustly put together without even asking them. Now, they gave you a constitution in 1999. It is called Decree 24 to further entrench that structural imbalance. Of course, no singular part of Nigeria succeeded in doing this without the collaboration of every other part of Nigeria. And that is why when people like us said, those who made this happen are especially those who claim to speak the same language like us, those who claim to come from us and the rest of them, we have discovered that this is not the North versus the South, Muslim versus the Christian, Igbos versus Yorubas, APC versus PDP, and whatever you want to call it. It is completely class war. And for those who are benefiting from the class war, the gatekeepers, the status quo should remain, even if they have to kind of gloss over the problems, ignoring the structural imbalance. As long as they get paid and they maintain their social class, Nigeria should remain one. But this is why it shouldn't. In 1960, when Nigeria was to become independent, the colonial masters and those who were the first forebearers, called them the first men who took the mantle of leadership into an independent Nigeria, they acknowledged every indigenous people in what was to become Nigeria. And they didn't just acknowledge them, they legally, recognized them. Which was why the system of education, the system of economy, the type of law they practice in most parts of northern Nigeria was modeled, structured to fit into the vision of those who were their first men. No interruption or no was allowed from the other side as long as they were going to fund it. That was the arrangement. Same thing for the people of Western region, for the people of Eastern region. Now, that was a structural arrangement that recognizes the importance and existence of every indigenous people who was to be part of the bigger Nigeria. And it worked because they had the opportunity to tap into their own resources for their own development based on their own understanding and exposure at the time. So the effort you put into your own development is the result you get back from it without having to depend or rely on any other part, even if you are from the same country. Because the arrangement was very clear. The regions will fund the center by ceding a portion of their own revenue or tax return and what have you from what they make from their own regions. That's how you fund the center. Independence of these regions will limit any kind of, unhealthy rivalry that Nigeria has now forced on the rest of us, which, assuming it actually worked, nobody will complain. But eventually it didn't work. It has led to mass bloody killings of these same indigenous people from their own lands where they have always been, being chased away because a system that is so strange was later adopted without their consent up to this moment, right? So everybody had their own ways. You give a portion of your own, of your revenue, your resources to fund the center. What are you funding in the center? You will be funding your general defense. You will be funding your border control. You will be funding your immigration through them. And these other few things that you probably will have to agree to fund, and a portion of what you make. Now, what does that mean? It simply means if any part of Nigeria is poor, there will be clearer explanation for why. But today, the Nigeria poverty is a shared mystery because it is complete man-made, caused by class war. There is no Yoruba man, there is no Igbo woman, there is no Hausa man, there is no Fulani woman, there is no Ijo man or Idoma woman, there is no, Egba Ijebu, whatever. The people who are the gatekeepers benefiting from the rots, they don't see themselves as you will see yourselves. And this is why. They know the structural imbalance is the reason why what they called exclusive lists and legislative lists. How did Nigeria arrive at a stage where terrorists invaded every part of the country? Citizens are being slaughtered. Millions and millions of them are living in refugee camps. How did Nigeria arrive at that? It started from the 1999 fraudulent constitution, which further cemented the fake one Nigeria of 1966, which gave the exclusive control of all resources under the command of the federal government of Nigeria. And if you know the genesis of the federal government, there is nothing called federal government in 1960. It was a parliamentary system of government, okay? Which means the party with the majority in the parliament from the regions, from everywhere, they will be the ones to lead the parliament. They will appoint the prime minister and the parties from these other regions, right? They will elected their own premier, the majority there. And which means it is just like that. So if you are not winning majority in the parliament as a political party, you have to partner with other political party from other regions in order to form a quorum and form the government at the center, parliamentarian system of government. That was what the British handed over to Nigeria in 1960. Okay, so it was until 1966 when this when the military coup of January 15, 1966, which was thwarted and then aborted by Agunyi Ironsi. That's a kind of a mixed up history that many of you today have been told that the first coup in Nigeria was carried out by the Igbos, led by Agunyi Ironsi. That's one big lie that they have kept repeating to many of you. Not many People actually who have really followed their history very well will believe that, right? But it was these young soldiers led by Kaduna Ezeogu. Kaduna Ezeogu happened to be a northerner, what do you call it, a northern Hausa boy who happened to adopt Ezeogu for some reason. And, now when they started their coup, they said that the politicians were living a extravagant lifestyle, the prime minister and the rest of them. So they said they wanted to rescue the country. So they staged a coup. It was the Aguiyi Rossi's squad who finally thwarted the coup and stopped them. But before they could be stopped, they've already wrecked and killed, the northern leaders, killed the western leader. Awolowo was in jail. That was why Awolowo was not killed at that time. They wanted to kill all the political leaders everywhere, right? So Rossi stopped that, and Rossi was appointed the military head of state. Then Rossi now made one big mistake. That big mistake is the mistake that costs the peace of Nigeria of today. And that was the mistake. Exact mistake, right? Should I even call it a mistake? Yeah, let's call it a mistake. A very, very big generational mistake that those who later happened to be the terrorists who now changed the fortune of Nigeria to what you are now calling federal government. Aguiyi Rossi suspended the regional system of government. After stopping the coup, he said he wanted to unite the country. You get what I mean now? They've killed all the leaders of the regions. And fortunately for Zeke, he was on a tour. He was doing a tour. I think they said he was doing a tour of the Caribbean or somewhere. That was what spared him. Awolowo was in jail. That was what spared him too. So if not, they were all marked to be executed. And they say, oh, they spared Zeke. Now they killed all our leaders. That was what happened 6 months after that. So Aguiyi Rossi made that terrible mistake. He abrogated the country. He suspended the regional system. 6 months after that, 7 months after that, July, the Muritala, Buhari, Babangida, and Dongoyaro, there are many like that. They decided to retaliate the killings of their leaders. They've killed Sadao North, they've killed Tafawa Balewa, they've killed so many people in the north. These young soldiers. Then Aguiyi Rossi, after he stopped the coup, those they found to be members of the coup that were arrested, Aguiyi Rossi was slowing down in prosecuting them. He put them in jail, right? And they were asking him, they said they've been caught, kill them, execute them. Aguiyi Rossi was slowing down. So that automatically they felt like Aguiyi Rossi was involved. Now, it was a plot for the Igbos to control Nigeria. That horrible mistake was what led to the 1975 coup. By then, it was retaliatory. Let's kill all of them. Let's kill every Igbo. Let's kill everybody. And then we'll go back to the north and we'll break away from Nigeria. It was this northern Nigerian Muritala, Gowon and co. It was them that first muted the idea of breaking away from Nigeria. Because you know what? Back then, it was easier to break away because the regions were there, structurally put in place. So Yorubas could say, we want to go. And all they have to do is what? All they have to do is to just conduct a referendum within the Western region. Do you know that Western region was as far as a Delta? What is today's Warri? Delta. The entire Edo everywhere was part of the old Western region. Just same way you have today's old Eastern region. The whole Eastern region, which later became Biafra, comprises of all of those places they call Niger Delta. Structurally, even as they are Niger Deltas, they are Ijaws, what have you, they have a proper representation in the administration of their region. So it was easier. There was no division of state by state, local. No. So what the military, Muritala and co, what they wanted then was that they killed our leaders. We will kill all of their leaders since we do it in Lagos. Yeah? So when we kill all of their leaders, then we'll move back. And that's exactly what they did. When they caught up with Agoyin Rossi, Adekunle Fajui in Ibadan, and they said, give us your Oga. We didn't come here for you. We came here for Ironsi because Ironsi had already suspended the regional system. He appointed Odumego Ojukwu as the, what do you call it? The military administrator, commander for the Eastern region. Adekunle Fajui for the Western region. I can't remember who was the Northern region, wherever then. And he himself, the commander of the Supreme Council, the military Supreme Council. So they wanted to kill everybody. So when they killed Ironsi, killed Fajui, killed everybody that they could kill, they retreated back to the northern Nigeria and they were ready to declare Arewa Republic. July 1966. So suspending the regional system for 7 months already put everybody on the edge. Okay? On the edge. That what is going to happen now? Is Nigeria going to go to war? Because this is not what they signed up for. And they were ready too. They were like, we will never be under the command of the Igbos. So all these things, all these hate against the Igbos, all this profiling, gaslighting. That's why I'm saying that if you get any issue with anybody, deal with that person. Don't see that person, don't see that his tribe as the problem. I keep saying that. And that's why I said that when we are talking about the Fulani terrorist, no matter what they have shown us today, no matter how terrible, how divided we have become today, do not fill your heart with so much hate that you will become so blind to what is actually real. No matter the history, we grew up seeing the Fulanis on our streets. We know them. We call them Boros, this and that. They have never had the audacity to pick up guns to say they want to fight us anywhere, anytime. Until these people started putting the cells everywhere. And they started importing armed terrorists that they are now forcing on. And we said, if you're a Fulani, you should come out boldly. At least if you're a Fulani, you have your different states in northern Nigeria. You have your different local governments in northern Nigeria. You have your emirs. You have your sultan. You have everybody who are actually like Fulani this, Fulani that. You've never put yourself on the truck and start driving down south with guns and says you need land. Until this Boko Haram came and they imported terrorists into Nigeria. And many of you, when we started talking, you started there, you started defending them. Because to you, it was hate against Fulani when we saw terrorists killing, maiming, kidnapping innocent people. But I keep telling my friends, we know the rogues in our city. We know the rogues in our forest, and we know those who brought them, and we know those who are defending them. So if you get any issue with a man, you will fight him. If you have issue with a Yoruba man, you will fight him. Don't say because you have a problem with a Yoruba man, then the entire Yoruba people have problem with you. That is why we need this. That's the division they brought. Back then, it was easier. So they said they wanted to leave. And according to the historians, they said they told them, the British, the American, in fact, it was the British ambassador, the American ambassador, and I think they said there one French ambassador at the time who approached them and advised them that currently they expected the South to fight back. But it doesn't seem that they will fight back. But if they want to break away from Nigeria, they will be the one to lose because they are the only region that always gets extra support on their budget every year. To the point that the British documents show that since the colonialists came to Nigeria, to what is to Africa, to what is today's Nigeria, they have been running at losses for every kind of investment they made in northern Nigeria. This may sound insulting to some of you because you'll be like, they are stupid because they are taking all your agricultural produce and everything, shipping them down south to the sea, and they are taking them to their country and the rest of that. However, they have a bookkeeping record which showed what they were making from both sides, to the point that they said the reason why they have to match the north with the south was that the northern Nigeria was not economically viable or profitable for the colonial system, for the colonial masters in the UK. And the only way to do it, to balance it up, is that for the running of government in the north, right, they need to be taken from the south. And it started from 1915. 1915. 107 years ago. So it's always been like that. So when these guys were advised not to leave and they stayed back, that was when they brought about the federal government. Federal. With the idea of, you know what, we will now create component states. That was when Gowon announced the first 12 states. That was the beginning of cutting families, cutting relatives, dividing ancestral lands, cutting people into people where they will become minorities, until when they called them into 36. And that is what gave birth to this federal government, federal. That is not what our forefathers signed up for. And that is exactly what or why today the kind of strife you see around, the crime, the corruption, it is the idea of a federal government, which now got cemented with the fraudulent 1999 Constitution. So what did that do to us from that 1966 to 2022? I'll tell you. So it gave those who now became the new gatekeepers, the new power holders, the opportunity to now divide Nigeria as their estates, developed a kind of a template that will be adopted as the Nigeria system. Anyone who try to deviate from that is doing for one thing, is calling for war. But look at it this way. For 62 years that they have now managed to put this fraud together, it has brought us nothing but ruins, destruction caused by the greed of the few, the selfishness, self-centeredness of few has cost us a lot. And I'll break them down for you one after the other now. The system of Nigeria is what you can describe as rob Peter to pay Paul, and a system that breeds incompetence, laziness, as much as corruption. That system which gave the entire control of Nigeria to one center, the same center that used to get its support from the region, is now the center that is now feeding the entire regions as it wishes and when it wishes. Now, the population of these regions are growing. They now call them states. So the population of these regions are growing. The system has created a large government, right? From 3 regions that gained independence in 1960 to 36 states from 3 premier from each region to what we now have as 36 governors, 36 deputy governors from 3 different parliament houses representing the 3 regions and 1 central house representing the entire country, to what you now have as 36 state house of assemblies, 2 national assembly, and then on and on and on. So the system reproduced itself in order to further take away what could have gone into the development of the people after using law. They are fake laws to take everything away from everyone and present itself as the savior, the Father Christmas. If we don't use this system, some people, some states will not have money. Some states will not pay salary. Why did they create states? Why did they create these loopholes? Because it is the only way to keep us in perpetual poverty. I mean, look at them. They are all going to be fighting for 36 states. They want to be governors. They want to be presidents. You want to elect 360 House of Representatives. You have to elect 109 senators. Then you have to replicate same across the 36 states. Then you have to pay them. You have to house them. You have to clothe them. You have to feed them. You have to even pay for their health care. You also have to pay for a lot. And they have nothing left. And the system says, it is one Nigeria. If we don't steal from everyone to serve this few, Nigeria is going to break. And they don't want Nigeria to break for that reason. Now, what they are taking away from us are so monumental that structurally it is impossible to develop anywhere in Nigeria. Don't be deceived by all those flashy elephant projects that they always love to display. Super highway, new university, new hospital. This man just supplied 1,000 bed. All this nonsense that you see, they are just glossing the problems, making it look like something can happen, when structurally it is completely impossible. You see, when they say Nigeria is so blessed, Nigeria is not blessed. It is the indigenous people who got trapped in Nigeria that are so blessed, but Nigeria stole it from you and continue to steal it from you, even when Nigeria have no capacity to even make use of 1% of what you are blessed with. And I'm going to, like I said, breaking them down one after the other is why you understand how did we arrive here. And why is election not going to solve anything when the structure itself is being ignored and everybody is saying they are the savior? We can do this, we can do that. And then you think they could try. Then they ended up failing you again and again. And then you be like, man, Nigeria problem I say evil spirit they cause them. No evil spirit causes anything. Your ignorance cause majority. But I'll begin to tell you now how this really affects you in a nutshell. Maybe not in a nutshell. Piece by piece. When you have something called exclusive list, that says that the federal government of Nigeria, by law that is written by Abdulsalami Abubakar, the decree of Abdulsalami Abubakar said by their decree, the federal government of Nigeria owns every resources under the land, over the land. I'm sorry, under the land or under the ground, under the land. They own it, including that water you are drilling. That is why when they knock at your door and say, we don't give you water, and you go drill borehole, this is your bill, water bill. And you say, we drilled the borehole ourselves, we put this thing up, you didn't give us water, no nothing. Why are we paying? Because by law, that Nigeria law, the water we under the ground said, now then get them. Which means you cannot do anything, even as a state. You know, governor, you have Yoruba governors, you have the Igbo governors. They cannot do anything without the approval of the federal government. This is how it gets ridiculous. So now the states have access to some certain things they can do, which means they can cultivate the land and grow crops, agriculture, you know. That one, nobody controls that. So you can become a state of, your state can become billionaire state by investing in agriculture. I'll tell you how the system encourages the corruption that always pop up lazy criminals who did not come to take care of anything. They came to take their own share because the system is called Turn by Turn Nigeria Limited. So, but the ridiculous thing is this: no matter what you are blessed with in your own current locality, things that could turn your life around, things that could create immediate good paying jobs for your children, things that can improve your local economy, if there are local laws that allows you to access them as indigenous people did this world, the way they go tell you, they be billionaire, and now what did they do? They do clay, then get place. We say their generation they extract clay to make pots, to make this everything, and they are importing all these pots you have in your room, all these different ceramics and all of them. There are families who make them. They will say from generation to generation, they've been doing them for 200 years. You know why? Because they were allowed to use their own resources. They are allowed to tap what is right there and develop it. But you are not allowed to forsake. I'm just using clay because our mothers still use clay, so they still use clay to make our pot and every local pot. So I just use that kind of example for as simple as that. But a state government cannot use them except they go to Abuja for approval. A state cannot say, we have a timber, so we want to invest in that. We want to make sure that if you cut down a tree, you are going to plant another one. You're going to plant another two in replacement. You know, that kind of policy that states can use to make money. Limestone that they used to make one of the very important material for cement. The state government, as much as they all brag about with their sirens and everywhere, intimidating you here and there, as governors, they have no say except Abuja. And guess what? In that Abuja, people will won't grow Nigeria.